Adam and I had, where I asked him if he remembered something. Go ahead. I asked him if he remembered something about Klay Thompson, and he's like, well, now that you reminded me about it, I remember it. And I was like, yeah, I didn't ask if it was, currently on your mind. I asked if it was something you remember. And then it was like we went into this alternate universe where the concept of remembering something meant nothing to him. Anyway, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Awesemo.com NBA Strategy Show presented by No House Advantage. I'm Dave Loughran at Loughy_D on the Twitters, LOUGHY_D. For those of you podcast listeners out there, got plenty of them too. You can find us on all podcast platforms, joined by Josh Engleman at Josh Engleman. Josh, why don't you do your new show intro that we saw yesterday on the Live Before Lock show?
That's only for Live Before Locks. You're not good enough for that one. It's not good enough for the strategy show. That is Live Before Lock exclusive content. If you want to see that, you can see that every Thursday at 6 or 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, depending on when lock is.
Well done. Did you happen to see my ceiling fan comment in chat?
I did.
I thought it was pretty good.
I did. Yeah, I thought I was just flipping Jordan the Bird. I wasn't right.
So Kevin, you might cut your finger off in that ceiling fan with those long. You got some long middle fingers, man.
I don't think that I do, but I don't know.
I mean,
like I don't have big hands. I have like normal hands. I mean, like I have bigger hands than Trump.
I'd say
too soon.
I'd say it's probably the size that finger is probably, I don't know, bigger than an iPhone.
I was going to give you a different comp, but
yeah, well, so yeah, I mean, it's bigger than anything with you.
I mean, there's my iPhone. I get it to the Apple logo.
Oh, that's actually not that crazy. What do you got?
The new one, man. What do you think? Like, what do you think? What kind of iPhone do you think I have? Come on now.
I don't know. There's no point of upgrading every time they come out with a new one when it's mostly just camera.
I mean, I like to have the newest stuff. I don't have anything else to throw my money at.
No, I hear you. I'm saying
you can only buy so much Cardano, you know?
Do you get every new iPhone? You don't?
No, every 2 years.
Okay. Oh, that's what I did. Okay. That's actually pretty reasonable. I got a cracked screen right now on mine.
Of course you do.
Normally it would bother me. It's like, I don't even care.
I put a screen protector on, so I don't generally worry about it.
I was outside and like the concrete stoop that goes down to our patio.
Mm-hmm.
I dropped it and it landed right on the corner of the concrete step, like face down on the corner of it. So I feel like even with a screen protector, you might not be saved from that.
You're probably right. But
it's neither here nor there.
Before we get started, I got to hit you with something. This came into my mind while I was at the gym. This has no tie to the slate. It does have a tie to basketball, so I'm not totally off the reservation. I want to get your thoughts on this because I don't really want to talk about DFS. I have a thought for the expansion of the NBA. I want to know what you think here. I want to switch to the soccer model.
Okay.
NBA goes to 40 teams. We're going to have to get Canada involved. Maybe we go to Mexico City as well.
Fan on those.
Well, they're already there in Toronto, so let's not act like that's a big jump.
Yeah, and I don't like them. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
2 separate 20-team conferences, promotion and relegation into both. Bottom 4 teams from the top 20 get booted out. Top 4 teams from the other one get moved up. You could do that however you want. Playoffs, top 16, the teams that don't get relegated, 16-team NBA playoffs, just like normal. Abolish the draft.
So what do you relegate him to the G League? No,
there's no G League. Well, there's still a G League, independent.
Well, hold on.
That's like your AAA team.
I don't watch any soccer at all.
Okay.
I understand very basic concepts. If you're in soccer and you're relegated, where do you go?
The next league below you.
Right. So where would the NBA teams go?
A non-created league at this point in time. Basically, the league would be splintered into 2 separate groups. Only the top 20 teams have the ability to win the NBA title.
Only the top 20.
Correct.
So
Which is more than like, it's not like 20 teams had a chance to win shit this year. Let's be clear.
So how many teams could be in the inferior league?
It'd be 20 on both sides.
Okay. I thought you were talking about like two 20-team conferences. And then
I mean, in theory, that's what it is. But one of them would be a better version than the lower version.
Okay. Okay. So how would you get players on the teams with no draft?
They're free agents. Same way now. Same way as now. But instead of Chet Holmgren getting drafted, he can play wherever, he can sign wherever he wants.
That sounds sketchy.
Amazing, right? Amazing is the word you're looking for. You play the other 19 teams 4 times. It gets you to 76 games, but since you're adding teams, you're not losing total games. I like it.
Yeah, but hold on a second. I'm just, Jason, help me work through this before we get into our first game for tonight's 7-gamer.
I will.
If you can just go anywhere.
Yeah.
We already know that rookie contracts, aren't going to tag a team nearly as much as like, a max for any of these superstars. So couldn't you just theoretically have everybody go to let's just say the Lakers, and the Lakers aren't getting hammered with salaries that they're paying out because
there are no rookie contracts any longer.
So, okay. So it's just free market.
Yeah.
Whoever wants to pay them the most.
Correct.
Okay. That would make more sense because the rookie contracts would ruin it. You couldn't do that.
Agreed. Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
like it.
Oh God, those new teams are gonna suck.
I mean, you put some contingencies in place, expansion draft type stuff.
I think it could be fun.
We have more talent internationally and everywhere than we've ever had before. I don't think that dilutes the game all that much.
Whole lot more work for us on the DFS front, though.
It'd be fun, man. It'd be fun.
All right.
It eliminates tanking. Gone. Doesn't exist any longer in the NBA.
Right. Because you can just lure the young players in with.
Well, right, but like there's no incentive to try to get the number 1 pick. There is no number 1 pick any longer. You don't want to get relegated. You're trying to win from start to finish.
For sure. We should also allow tampering.
I mean, we already do.
Right, but I mean, just let them do whatever.
We already do. We watched James Harden get traded to your team this year.
You want to take a guy out with hookers and blow?
Yeah.
For a weekend.
I'm pretty sure you can still do that.
Yeah, but in this case, it should just be celebrated.
So you want to legalize cocaine and prostitution?
No, I don't want to legalize cocaine because it's the possession that is the felony, not the actual being high. So let's just.
Chat is wildly incorrect here.
What?
Chat's wildly incorrect here.
Oh, I thought you said I'm wild. I was going to say no.
I mean, if you want to give out goodie bags of ladies of the night and uppers, go for it. But you may have a system where you have dominant teams controlling the league and small market teams never have a chance to win. Congratulations. That's exactly what's happening right now.
Yeah, that is what you're saying is I call it NBA purgatory, right? So like you have your very good teams, and then even the teams that might not be very good, but still have enough draw in terms of market to get good players. Okay. And then you have your just awful teams that can hopefully build through the draft. You never know if it's going to happen. But then you just have the large majority of teams that are stuck in this purgatory the NBA purgatory, where it's like you might get into the playoffs at 500, right? You might go 38 and 44, whatever it is, and sneak in as an 8th seed. And every single season have zero chance of actually truly competing once you get out of the regular season. It is still an insanely top-heavy league. And yes, there's some flex, there's some mobility. I'm not saying that. Like the Suns, good example of the past couple of years, right? the Bucks lucked out with Giannis. Not lucked out, but I mean, they drafted him like more than midway through the first round.
Yeah.
Oftentimes that doesn't happen. And
right.
Yeah.
Like the Milwaukee Bucks in my scenario are just as likely to sign as a free agent this unknown Greek kid who nobody knows what he's going to be. Like,
right.
Sure, they can throw him that extra money. Nothing's stopping him from going to Milwaukee. The best teams aren't fawning over him to throw him extra money before the draft. We didn't know that.
Right.
He just happened to go to Milwaukee.
Wes Ridge says Memphis isn't a large market. No, and when's the last marquee free agent signing they've had?
Right. Nobody's lining up to sign at these teams anyway. If they have the ability to throw money at young players, they might do that. A kid might take a 4-year deal and a bag because he can do that out of the gate.
And if you're told like, hey, you can be the face of this franchise going forward. Instead
Or
of
like
hey,
you can bring 2 of your college teammates with you.
Right. I honestly don't hate the idea. I just don't like the 40 teams. It's a little too much for me.
I think there's that much talent nowadays that gets out of the like shrinking the schedule problem a little bit. The reason that I thought about this and the reason that it popped into my head, I was listening to a podcast with Eric Pincus. They were talking about the CBA and they were talking about whether or not Ben Simmons is going to get any of his money back from the Sixers due to the arbitration and mental health stuff. And I think it creates this very slippery slope of if he's saying that he couldn't play in Philadelphia because of the fans and that created this mental issue. If he gets money back for that, that opens up a can of worms for people in the future. The only way to remove that sort of thing is to allow people to choose where they play from the beginning. If Ben Simmons chose to play in Philadelphia, I think the fans don't like me excuse doesn't carry as much weight. He was forced to be in Philadelphia in theory in this case. That is a little bit different.
The fans don't like me excuse is also one of the dumbest shit I've ever heard. I mean,
I agree. I hate it
ridiculous. If that ends up being an avenue of to obfuscate your responsibilities as an NBA player getting paid millions and then they pay you anyway, then the league is just over. Because then you can do what I'm serious. Like you can then just do whatever you want. Oh, I don't want to play for these guys. The fans are mean to me.
Yeah.
And that becomes and then they're like, all right, we're going to hold your money, but then ultimately we'll pay you your money because the fans were mean. Imagine if you and I were like Tom Kennedy, our CEO, we can't do our jobs because chat is mean to us. Yeah. We need to go somewhere else. But all those shows I didn't do, where I rightfully, in your mind, of course, wasn't paid, I think I deserve to get reimbursed for all of that because, well, chat told me that I looked like Wesley Snipes.
Right.
Which did happen.
That's a weird one.
It's a weird one. So that's ridiculous.
I agree. But if he gets money back, it opens up the opportunity for people to just immediately be like, I can't play here.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's bad. It'd be real bad. I
mean, that's how I'd feel if I got drafted by the Pistons. I'd be like, I can't play here.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Right. All right. Well, we're happy to have you guys with us. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe to the channel. Josh, 74,700 plus. So we're less than 300 away from 75,000 subs.
Love it.
Oh, it's good stuff. We're at 71 likes. We hadn't even asked yet. So appreciate you guys. But if you haven't done so, take that 1 second. That's all it takes to hit that thumbs up. If you like this stuff, you want to see more, and really you just want to help support us because it may not seem like much, but it helps us a ton. And you want to join the channel, join down below. Free super chats each month, custom emojis, some good ones too. The badges. Oh yeah. All the sweet badges. Alexander's iced up now too. They're rolling in, baby. And we'll always prioritize your questions and comments along with our Discord members. Ready to talk a little basketball?
I am.
All right. So here's the thing. Utah and Charlotte has a 227.5 total. We've got no Bojan Bogdanovic. Hassan Whiteside's questionable for what it's worth. Not much. So I wanted to make sure we have an ownership update, right?
Yes.
Okay. We do. Okay. Yeah. Yesterday we ran into a little bit of an issue, but we're good now.
Well, that's what happens when I push us to a 10-20 start.
Yeah.
I thought about it for the first 20 minutes of my workout.
Yeah. The whole relegation and league expansion thing.
Yeah.
Do you listen to music during a workout? Like, what do you do?
Whatever's playing in the gym.
What? Oh, we can't do this. I'm going to get, this will put me down a rabbit hole.
What? What do you mean?
You listen to whatever the gym speakers are playing, like when you're working out?
Yeah. I mean, I've got like a trainer. It's not like a big box gym or anything like that. There's like 8 people there.
You're with a trainer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were by yourself and you're like, damn, dude, this creep sounds good today.
No, that's not how it is. And like for what I'm doing, it's not. If I were lifting or something, it might be a little bit different. Like Mondays and Wednesdays would be a little bit different. On a day like today, it doesn't make a difference. But yeah, like whatever's just playing in the gym is fine with me.
I crank them up, and then my iPhone tells me that my AirPod levels are too loud. I
get that every day.
Yeah. Anyway, Donnie Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley, all of these guys actually pretty popular today. One of the reasons Charlotte, not the best team, but the best. They're like one of the better fantasy matchups because their offense is pretty good, but their defense isn't, and they play at a fast pace. So if you come in and you're like the Jazz, Charlotte's a competitive enough team to give up a lot of points, but also score enough too. And this game is only a 3.5 point spread. Yeah,
and Charlotte just sort of unlocks good plays. I mean, Donovan Mitchell would have been a good play today regardless. 8,500 on FanDuel, 9K on DraftKings. He's like 25 to 35% owned, depending on the site. He would have just looked good either way. It wouldn't have mattered for the matchup. But with no Boyan, it starts to open up a little bit more. And it's even possible we see a couple more guys out. But we're seeing Rudy Gobert about 25% owned across both sites. That seems fine to me. 1.21 fantasy points per minute over the past 30 days. I don't have to really explain too much about Rudy Gobert. I think everybody gets it. Great matchup, though, against Charlotte. Not the only guy that's getting the ownership. Conley is in the 20s on both sites. Royce O'Neal's around 15% across both sites. Not a lot of love for Jordan Clarkson. Not surprised there, but he has been playing increased minutes with no Boyan. It's just a really nice matchup and a good team to target. You don't normally say that about the Utah Jazz.
You really don't, but they're really, really appealing today. Mr. Digo Blue AirPod Pro Lafayette, I never had that happen. Now, if you go into the health thing, like the health app, it'll show you your levels. Like if I'm taking a look at just fitness stuff throughout the day, it'll show you the levels. I don't like AirPod Pros though. I've had them. I went back to the Gen 2s because I don't like how the AirPod Pros fit in my ears. I didn't like how they fit.
You just need better ears.
I think I've had like 5 pairs of AirPods. I mean, I don't know why I keep giving them my business because they always break. They always stop working.
I have loved the Pros since I got them. When they stopped working, they took them back and gave me 2 new ones.
Yes.
I will give them my business forever.
I could do that too. I have the warranty. It's just a real process. And then I don't have AirPods for a while.
I think I got mine back in 2 days.
There's no way you got them back in 2 days.
Yeah. They didn't. Yeah. Best Buy took them and then Apple immediately shipped me 2 new ones.
Oh, they didn't fix them. They replaced them.
I guess. I don't know.
Gotcha. Do you think LaMelo Ball's minutes can even be remotely predictable or predicted right now or projected? I have no idea what's going on with his minutes.
They seem to be slightly trending up. I don't know how much that matters. Every once in a while, the dude just falls into 36 though.
He fell into 39 in a game that they lost by 15 the game before that. But if you go look at some of these other ones, you'd be like, okay, well, he just lost these minutes during a blowout, but it's not necessarily true. Like they blew out the Pelicans and LaMelo Ball came out in the fourth quarter with like 6:30 left, unless you assume that he would have played 15 straight minutes to close that game. Well, no, he wouldn't have because all of the other starters were out there. So his rotations, his minutes are really strange to me right now. I think you can get him to 36, 38, but I think it's also possibly plays 29 or 30.
Yeah, I gave him 33 and this is a tale of two separate sites. On DraftKings, everybody that plays legitimate minutes, Rozier, Bridges, Ball, Washington, Plumlee, Martin, are basically the same play to me. Their ownership, 5, 13, 10, 10, 7, 7. I mean, on a 7-game slate, like those guys, there's no difference between 5 and 10% ownership. That's how they came out of my sim. 11, 11, 11, 15, 11. Like, I can't separate these guys on the DK side. Clearly, I want to go to the usage heavy guys, the Roziers and the Balls, because they have the higher Bridges to an extent. They have the higher raw point ceiling. The only spot that there is actual, like, an overwhelmingly good play is on the FanDuel side. Terry Rozier is $6,500. That's $1,400 cheaper than he is on DK.
Yeah, how does that even happen?
I don't know. 23% usage, close to a 20% assist rate. He's already pulling 30% ownership, and I think that is well warranted. His price tag is just broken. But on the DK side, you're just if you think this game is competitive against Utah, you can basically pick anybody that gets playing time.
Pretty much. This could end up being one of those games where you want a decent amount of pieces. But like you said, Utah is definitely the far superior just in terms of appeal right now. So, yeah. And Charlotte's just been healthy for a while too. So we had so many instances where they weren't, but now they're healthy. It's tough, especially this late in the year. You're just going to get, and this, dude, we're going to have something happen today where it changes things on a 7-gamer.
Right. We're getting into the point of the season where we're not going to be, generally speaking, we're going to have a spot or two each day that has excessive value, which is going to unlock the upper echelon more and more. And the mid-tier guys, the 7,900 Roziers, the 7,800 Bridges are like perfect last guy into your lineup that can be swapped out with 15 other dudes that look exactly the same.
Absolutely. And just speaking of, late March basketball, if you really want an idea of how bad Portland is and how serious this tank approach is, I mean, I was talking to Greg yesterday or 2 days ago on the Yahoo show. If you take that 76ers team, like broke the record for most losses in a season, this is 100 times worse than that. It's bad. They're 3.5-point home dogs against the Rockets.
Are you trying to tell me that's not good?
I'm trying to tell you that is not great, Bob. And the thing too is that at least the Sixers on this team, they had like Jeremy Grant, they had Rashawn Holmes, right? They had a few guys they had Robert Covington. They had a few guys that are actually like NBA players.
Yeah. There's
nobody tonight that's an NBA player.
There's one that could be, we don't know. Keon Johnson. Keon Johnson is like, he is those young guys that were there for Philly. He's a first-round draft pick, second year. I think it's his second year. Like, that could be the guy that ends up being real. We just don't know it yet. Most of the rest of these guys are not future dudes.
Yeah, for sure. Brad Skittles, Laffy's they don't make him like they used to guy. No, I love technology, man. I was the first person out of anybody that I knew to have AirPods. I've had them for years.
You advocated to me to get them.
Yeah, right. I don't like and this is weird, but I don't love the noise canceling because like with work and everything, I just have them in all the time. So, it's just easier to just be able to hear what's going on. And then if I don't want to, I just crank shit up. Red Skittles, whatever you say, Grams. Washington and Detroit. Do you think Kuzma plays today, second of a back-to-back? He's missed, 3 straight now? Yeah, 3 straight.
Yeah, I left him out. On these back-to-back situations, it's unless we sort of like have word that it was a rest day, and this was not a rest day. Like, he's just clearly been out. Not. I'm just leaving him out until I find out otherwise. It's not worth the time to hypothesize that stuff in the morning any longer. During the regular, like when it's earlier in the season and you don't have as much fudgery going around, it's different. In this case, so much of this slate's going to change. Like, it's just not somewhere I'm spending my time.
Dumbing down a Joe Rogan term there. That's the first place I heard that. It's got to be where you heard it from, right? Or did you? I never used that. I still don't, but I never heard that until Rogan would say constantly on the podcast.
It's hard for me to say. I've been listening to him for 12 years now.
Right.
So
you got in on like near the ground floor with him and Red Band. Were you listening with him and Red Band?
Episode 1, man.
Really?
It was just when I moved to North Carolina. I didn't have a job. They would go live at like noon West Coast time or 3 West Coast time. All those times were just me sitting around my apartment with absolutely nothing to do. So I listened from the jump.
That's crazy. It's been a long.
I would watch them on Justin TV and Ustream. Like, yeah.
So the thing that I have a concern with today, or at least a question, is so Porzingis has played back-to-back 32-minute games. That's nice, right? You know that if Porzingis is getting starter minutes and Kuzma's off the floor, he's a very good per-minute guy. He's facing the Detroit Pistons today in a game with they're 4.5-point dogs to the Pistons, by the way. Pistons are playing good basketball, 221 total. The thing, though, is does Porzingis not see restricted playing time on the second of a back-to-back tonight?
That's a tricky question. He played the back-to-back last week, Friday and Saturday.
But weren't his his minutes were 29 and 26. So, okay.
Right. Look, if he's able to do that, I don't think that he'll be like overly restricted. I gave him 30 minutes.
You're probably right.
I gave him 30. I think he's probably the only thing that I like, especially on FanDuel at 8,500. Because he's more like block centric. He's a little bit more interesting on FanDuel. Not like he's a huge turnover guy either. I don't have a lot here that I like from Washington, even with Kuzma out. If Kuzma comes back in, it might just be him. This Wizards team is just all over the map. Like Ish got a bunch of minutes this last time out. He played 27. They're just a wildly unappealing team.
They are.
The two guys that get the most minutes for the Wizards are KCP and Corey Kispert. That's a 0.75 and a 0.66 guy. Yick.
It's not good. Yeah.
No.
I was on a prop here. I was on the over 4.5 assists for Raul Neto yesterday because he had 20 potential assists the game prior to yesterday in like 25 minutes. 20 potential assists.
How many did he actually get? How many did he really get though?
In that game, 10.
Okay.
Yeah, and then yesterday he had 6. I think he only played 20 minutes, but he had to have had a double-digit potential assists. Anyway, so I do the props video. It comes out at 2 Eastern every day over on the Odd Shopper channel. Check it out. We've been doing well. I try to not say that because then you do stuff like that. I'm superstitious and it goes sideways quick, right? But
yeah,
check this out, man. So Caruso, we were on over 1.5 steals. We went 3-1 yesterday. This is the one we lost. We're on Caruso over 1.5 steals, and he gets 2 steals in the first quarter. DraftKings pays it out. It was a plus money prop too, plus 140. So it's a nice little payout. Later in the game, there's a stat correction. And then as the game ends, DraftKings pulls the money off my account and counted it as a loss after paying it out and settling the bet.
I don't think they can do that.
That's what I thought. Like when they paid me out, I'm not a dummy, right? I saw the stat correction and I go, okay, technically I didn't win this bet, but it was in the settled column. It was undersettled, a green 1 across it, WON, and they paid it out.
Can you see that they unpaid it, or is it like it never got paid?
No, it went from 1 money credited to my account to lost money debited from my account. So what you're saying, know what? I bet if you're right. If I went to the history, could I see plus 400 or whatever it was, and then minus 400?
Right. That's grimy. If they can do that,
right? Like,
yeah,
I get that I didn't actually win, but then wait till the end of the game to pay it out. Right?
Agreed. Yes. Agreed.
Like if you're going to do that, wait till the game is over to pay or not pay out.
Could you imagine if you bet this in a brick and mortars casino and they handed you the money and some dude came and took it back out of your pocket 15 minutes later?
Right. You get to the parking lot, right? You get your slip. Dude walks up, knocks on your window. Hey, we're going to need that back. And you're like,
boom, there's the real bird.
Yeah. I just came from the roulette table, pal. There's nothing left. Yeah.
No, insane. You cannot. It's like anything. It's like if you order something from Amazon and they ship it to your house, you are under no obligation to return it no matter what they gave you. They can send you a MacBook instead of a MacBook charger.
Right.
The MacBook is yours now.
It's yours.
Yeah. They should not be able to pay that out. Or they should not be able to take that back.
Take that back, right? I thought it was crazy.
Insane.
And once again, I'm not sitting here complaining because it's not like I actually won the bet, but they paid it out and settled it. It was a settled bet.
That should never be possible.
I know. I'm glad we're on the same page here. I was curious to see where you would come in on that. I wanted to bring it up to you, but yeah, it's nuts.
Insane. I would never trust them again. Where do you draw the line?
Right. What if that stat correction comes in after the game is over and they've already settled it?
Right. I mean, like, I don't know their terms. Like, maybe this is in their terms and this is much ado about nothing. But like, what if this is an Olympic event and that asshole tests positive for steroids 6 months from now?
Yeah.
Where do we draw the line?
I know. Like, obviously they wouldn't now, but the thing is, for me, you know what the easiest way would be to do this? Just don't settle the bet till the game is over if you're going to do that shit.
Yes.
You know?
Agreed. Yeah, agreed.
What do you like from the Pistons?
Basically nothing. Cade at 8,200 on FanDuel looks pretty good. If they're at full strength, Cade's a 28% usage guy, 26% assist rate, somewhere in the 1.1 to 1.15 fantasy point per minute range. He's pulling 20% ownership. I think that all makes sense on FanDuel. He looks okay on DK. He's 8,700. The position helps a little bit. He's shooting guard, small forward, so you gain some flexibility. Only other guy north of 6% ownership for Detroit is $4,100 Killian Hayes. I don't really have any interest there. I still think he's coming off the bench and not closing, and it'll be Corey Joseph. So I find Detroit not all that interesting. If you're ever going to anything from the Pistons, it's Cunningham, it's Bay, it's Grant.
Okay. Golden State and Atlanta. We got free content too on the site today. Never want to forget that for you guys. NBA ownership rankings, NHL player rankings, and MMA rankings. And also, Josh, the promo code Trout gets you 25% off the entire year for MLB annual pass. Apparently someone decided to just throw a trouser trout up on the screen with the promo picture. I don't know if you were watching yesterday's show.
I was looking more like a king salmon, but
yeah, out of control. But yeah, if you want to get in, 25% off I'm telling you, we got the best MLB tools out there. I'm not just saying that. Like the top pitchers tool, the top stacks tool, the ownership, the player projections, the lineup builder, all of that stuff. You get 25% off the entire year if you get in before the 1st of April. And then April 1st to I think the 11th, it's 15% off. But take advantage of it now. Use the promo code Trout at checkout, or just go to awesemo.com/promos and you don't have to click anything. You don't have to type in anything. You just click sign up now and it'll automatically put that code in for you. All right, Golden State, Josh. This team is a team. I don't know what to make of this team right now, to say the least. But without Steph Curry, things are looking strange. They did come in and beat Miami in Miami. Miami, 2 bad losses now in a row. But you're going up against the Atlanta Hawks today in a spot that you would think, again, is another competitive game. 3 points. Like all these games so far are seemingly going to be competitive. Does that mean, though, that we're willing to, pay for Jordan Poole or pay for Clay? It feels like Poole's just the obvious answer right now, but the ownership disparity is insane between the two.
Very different discussion here between FanDuel and DraftKings. Poole, 7,800 on both sites. He's like 16% owned across both. I think that's right. I actually like him a bit more than the ownership is showing on FanDuel. Even with everybody in, with Clay and Wiggins and Draymond, Poole's like a 29% usage guy. He's an above average true shooting guy. Assist rate goes up with no Steph. So I like Poole on both sites. I don't like anything else for Golden State on the DK side, whether that's Wiggins or Clay or Draymond or Porter. We might be getting Andre Iguodala back, flat minimum. None of that really matters to me. I just don't love the DK pricing. I like these guys a lot more on FanDuel. So Wiggins is $800 cheaper on FanDuel than he is on DK. I think he's much more interesting there. Klay Thompson is $1,500 cheaper on FanDuel, $6,600 on FanDuel, $8,100 on DraftKings. Very different play across both sites. And then finally, Draymond, who played, I want to say 29 minutes the last time out. It's just off the top of my head. Where's his name?
You said Dre?
Yeah, 29 minutes. Perfect. Draymond, 6,500 on DK. Not that good of a price tag. 5,200 on FanDuel. Still power forward center eligibility. So I like him a lot. I actually like Draymond on FanDuel more than I like Jordan Poole just because of that price. If Draymond's going to play 29 minutes there, I think that he can play 30 in this one, especially if it's competitive. So if you're playing on FanDuel, you're paying a lot closer attention to Golden State. If you're playing on DraftKings, you're probably just going to Jordan Poole and very little else.
Atlanta, kind of interesting here, just given that we haven't actually had much to talk about outside of Utah to start this game, right? To start this slate. Danilo Gallinari at $5,200 on DraftKings with no John Collins, I think is reasonable. Bogdanovic has played well off the bench. He's getting good minutes, pretty solid usage. Like all of these guys, it feels to me, and granted the matchup, not as appealing now that you get Draymond back, but it feels to me like the top three here, whether it's Trey or Bogdanovic or Gallinari, at least on DraftKings, are all fine tournament plays, but there's no real priorities with Atlanta either.
Completely agree. Whether that's Trey, Herter, Hunter, Bogdanovic, Gallo, Capella, I don't see a giant difference between most of those guys. Clearly, Trey is the guy you want to go to because he can put up the game that breaks the slate. Fine by me. 1.3 fantasy points per minute in this spot. 9,800 on FanDuel. I think he looks even better there. After that, though, I don't know. You can kind of just pick and choose. Like Capella looks all right, mid sixes. These guys are just priced appropriately. Now that John Collins has been out for a few games, everything is stabilized here. You kind of just need somebody else out to really open anything else up.
I agree. All right, 3 down, 4 to go. By the way, I just looked it up while you were talking. Sports betting win payout description, then the amount, and then that was 819. And then ready for this? 1030 sports betting wager payout reversal.
What if you withdrew the money?
What?
Like, would you have a negative balance on DK if that was your only thing?
I saw people in chat saying to withdraw it, but if they're going to do that, then who knows what they're going to try and do if there was nothing in my account for them to take.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
It is weird. But yes, you say, like, is it in there? It's all logged. So
I mean, I would reach out.
Oh yeah. Why not? I mean, it can't hurt, right? It was still a profitable night. If that was a difference between like a great night and a losing night, I'd be a little bit more pissed off.
I would just be like, yo, is this not against your terms to pay me out and then refund it? What are you
2 hours late? Yeah.
2 hours later.
By the way, I'm going to blow up your spot if you pull this stuff again.
Wait.
On the biggest DFS channel on the planet.
Dude, I thought you were going to say like headquarters, but you went with spot. I say, all right, that's a lot better. I don't want.
Oh no, I just meant, drag them in the public.
Right. Now I got you. But I'm like, where is he going? Is he threatening? Is he making a physical threat? No. All right, New York Knicks. I know you weren't, but by spot, I didn't know if you meant headquarters. New York Knicks we should say it. We're the biggest DF, almost 75,000 subs. Yeah. Hit that subscribe too. Let's get us there so we can really put the fear of God into them. New York Knicks and Miami Heat, Josh. The Knicks today waiting on Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson. This is actually news that could be relevant. Like will be relevant. And I say that not only because it's going to open a lot up, but if both of those guys play, then New York just looks like shit.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, RJ Barrett, because of the minutes that he plays, playable on FanDuel no matter what at 7,800. I have everybody in right now. And then on DK, I don't really have a ton of interest. I mean, Knicks Heat is not exactly the game you're trying to go to for DFS points. This has, I believe, the lowest total of the slate. So unless you get Randall and or Mitchell Robinson out, you can mostly ignore the Knicks in terms of any priorities. I will say, though, if Randall is in, he's 8,000 power forward center on FanDuel, 9,400 on DraftKings. Julius Randle is the best play on the Knicks to me on either site. If he's able to play on FanDuel, we shall see. If he's out, obviously we're going to go to a little bit more Obi top and he's just going to play a bunch of minutes. He's already priced up. He's 5,200 on FanDuel, 4,500 on DK, but still going to be a really good value and a good point per dollar play. If Mitchell Robinson ends up out, same situation here. Jericho Sims, not the most productive guy in the world, 3,700 on FanDuel, 3,400 on DraftKings with power forward eligibility. He's just going to look like a good point per dollar play too, but we won't know that until we get the news on Randall and Robinson.
This is one where you just watch the deeper dive in live before lock. It's that
correct.
Simple. There's not much we can do with this right now at all. And
wait till we get to the next team.
I know. And I know. And like you said, there's no real point of speculating. With Miami, as you just alluded to, it's even worse. So Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Caleb Martin, PJ Tucker. I'm not just reading off the Miami Heat roster. I'm telling you who's questionable today. Victor Oladipo, Gabe Vincent out. So, I mean, dude, I think Butler plays. He's played through a Q tag a couple games, but if he doesn't, there's just Bam Adebayo is already a good play in my opinion. If these guys, if Jimmy Butler sits and you're missing Hero too against the Knicks, no less, who aren't exactly a team that'll beat you up on the offensive end, Bam Adebayo would look really, really good here.
I don't know how far back this goes. Jimmy Butler has played in 45 of the 87 games that he's had a questionable tag. That's 52%. Isn't
that crazy? Because usually you look at most of these guys that play with Q tags, it's got to be like 70% average.
I don't know.
But you would agree it's higher than 52% on average. For a guy that's been questionable 80 times.
I honestly don't know. I don't have a good feel for it. I don't know. I don't have a stance.
I'm saying, no, I was just saying non-Jimmy Butler players.
I don't have a good feel for it. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you thought I was still asking you if Jimmy plays or not.
No. I don't have I remember what I used to know, and now I don't know if that holds any longer.
Where do you even find that data?
What I just said, or like in general?
Like
Basketball Monster has that individual rate.
How many times he's BBM?
So in theory, they have all of it. I assume they might have like the aggregate somewhere on the site. I just don't know. Greg might know, actually.
Interesting.
Message Josh Lloyd too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right now, Bam, I think, is already viable against the Knicks, but dude, the whole team impossible. Is literally the whole team is either questionable or
out. Yeah, I mean, look, I like Bam and I like Butler if they both play. I like them more if guys start getting ruled out. This is an impossible team to talk about right now. Like 200 of their minutes are questionable today. I can't even care.
No, we have 9 players projected for ownership. So presumably 9 players projected to play for Miami.
Yeah.
5 of them are questionable. That's more than half of this team right now that would get on the floor is questionable.
And each one of them affects other guys in different ways. Like if Butler's out and we're going to an aggressive amount of Tyler Hero. I don't even remember who else questionable. If PJ Tucker gets ruled out, then maybe we go to more Markieff Morris or Caleb Martin. There's too much trickle down to even worry about it.
Yep. Arturo Valdez says, here's some love for the Awesemo fan with the super chat. Thanks, bro. How do I do the Awesemo Hall of Fame tweet? I took down first split in a single game last night with only 5 entries. Just tweet us at Awesemo HOF with the screenshot. Congrats, man. I will say, if you split it with more than 3 people, if it's more than a 3-way chop, right? Not if you split with more than, if it's more than a 3-way chop, we can't do the free month of Awesemo because we would go out of business. Yeah. But with showdown stuff, but congrats anyway. And tweet us. Yeah, we'd be happy to throw you up in our Hall of Fame segment. And Jeff Williams, I rarely play narratives, but play Butler after being embarrassed on national TV by UD and the coach. So
I don't think that Jimmy Butler was embarrassed by anything. Just saying.
Thanks for the super chat, Jeff.
Yes. But none of that mattered. It's the Miami Heat.
Dallas.
They went into the locker room, gave each other a couple MFs, and they went about their business.
Yeah.
That shit's not sticking around in Miami.
I don't think it would either. Not under Spo.
Not under Riley.
Yeah, Riley too. Luka Doncic against Minnesota. Believe it or not, Josh, another game with a 2.5 point spread. All what one game is like what 4 points or no, I'm sorry, the Knicks are 6.5 point dogs, but still a lot of close spreads. On the Minnesota side, Towns is questionable, but there's no reason to expect he doesn't play through that. Yeah, he has like a bruise on his forearm or something. And on Dallas, we don't have any relevant injury news. Luka Doncic's not on the injury report.
Yeah, and you should be playing the living shit out of him on FanDuel today. He's 10,400. He's 44% owned. To me, he's the unquestioned number one play here. In the games that have been played where Luka, Dinwiddie, and Brunson all play, so since the deadline, 39% usage out of Luka, 43% assist rate, above average true shooting. He looks absolutely incredible here. I even like getting to him at 12,100 on DraftKings, although obviously that's a much bigger price tag. And then after that, I don't know, Dorian Finney-Smith for 4,500 on FanDuel. He's going to get the minutes. I don't find the rest of Dallas all that interesting, but good God, do you need to play Luka on FanDuel?
You have to.
Yeah.
The rest of Dallas, though, is not. The rest of Dallas, as it is most nights, really doesn't do much for you whatsoever at all. Right? Like, is there anything else?
Only Dorian Finney-Smith hit 10% in my sim. Highest owned guy is either Reggie Bullock or Maxi Kleber. So no, there are no other priorities for Dallas.
All right. That didn't copy over right.
I knew what it was.
Didn't copy over right. Yeah. Minnesota. Talk to me about Patrick Beverly. And Karl Anthony Towns too. Let's just start with Towns here, because on the slate you have Luka, you have Joel Embiid. We'll get to him against the Clippers. That's a good spot. You have Trey not pulling a lot against Golden State. Harden at 10K against the Clippers. There aren't that many top tier guys that feel like necessities, at least on DraftKings too, with Luka being over 12K. Is there any room for Towns here?
Not. What's the best way to say this? Like, clearly he's Karl Anthony Towns and can have a big game. He's really, really good. He's one of the best offensive centers in basketball. That said, I think he's mostly appropriately priced. I like the other pieces around him, whether that's Edwards, whether that's a $5,900 D'Angelo Russell on FanDuel. I can't keep pointing out guys that are $1,500 cheaper on FanDuel today. It's ridiculous how much additional value is out there in the mid to upper tier. So be aware of that in your lineup construction. I like Beverly quite a bit. He's 20% owned on DraftKings, 4,700. He's like a fantasy point per minute guy, and he plays about 30 minutes in competitive games. So as long as he doesn't get himself ejected, we know how long he's going to be out there. Even someone like Jared Vanderbilt on FanDuel for 4,200 seems fine. But if we're asking who the actual best play is, probably Beverly on DK. Although if you want to take your shots on Edwards, I'm rarely mad about it.
5 down, 2 to go. Arca does says, I got a feeling either Embiid or Harden sits tonight. I don't see why they would. They just both of them sat the other day against Miami. So
no, they're not. Neither one
reason
of them sitting.
AOD says, yo, Josh, yo, Laffy, love you, bros. Yo, the GOATs, dynamic squad. Hey, thanks, pal. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. And then Gav said, yeah, okay, so what if Ben Simmons KOs one of these idiot fans who were harassing him when he got off that bus? Well, then he's just as much of an idiot as they are. Look, I get that just because you have money and because you have fame and people know who you are, that it doesn't mean you can sit there and be unfazed by abuse. So I hate it. People are sending me videos like, dude, check this out, of them just hurling like insanely abusive language at Ben. I found it insanely unnecessary. I didn't like it, honestly.
It's
I didn't
gross.
even enjoy what?
It's gross.
It was gross, right?
Those
I think
people
you and I even talked
people.
about that. We were DMing about it was gross. There was nothing. I don't know. just so
there's a huge
off-putting.
difference between booing someone at a basketball game and like just tearing him apart on the streets while he's just like living his normal life.
Exactly. However, if Ben Simmons were to hit that guy and theoretically give him exactly what he wanted, which would be several $1 million,
he's going to mess up most people he comes across.
Sure.
He is a monster man that is way more athletic than 99% of the people he'll interact with.
And guess what? When you go to court and you say he was mean to me as a defense, pay up, pal. He won't do any jail time, but that dude's getting rich.
Yeah.
You know, no doubt
Should he be allowed to knock him out? Probably.
I agree.
Street justice is totally reasonable to me in those situations. If he would have walked up to that guy that was like yelling at him outside of a Starbucks and just cleaned him out.
Yes. That's the video we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. I have no issue with it.
And he came up and put him to sleep. Right.
What's up now? What were you saying?
On that cold, hard concrete, just slapped the dude. I would 100% back him morally. And I do not, I'm not a big fan of Ben Simmons, the way he went about things. But what I'm saying is if you don't have the wherewithal to know where that's going to land you and how it will absolutely not be worth it in the long run, you're just as dumb as that dude is. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I wish he could hand out a little street justice in those situations. Everybody should be able to.
Yeah, I agree.
When those people in Utah or whatever were talking smack to Russ about whatever it was, family, race, I can't really remember. Like if he just goes out and boom, sleeps that dude.
Yep.
I'm okay with it.
For sure. Yeah.
I get it. Imagine being at work and just having people show like those strangers walk by on the street. Tearing you apart. Yo, your spreadsheets are shit, man.
But if you, so if I come up, first of all, I'm really not about that life anyway, in terms of just like seeing someone and deciding I want to just tear them down. But if you come up and you're like, boo, careful, Ben, careful, it's going to get ugly today. You hate our city, you shit on us, whatever. Like that's fun. Like that's heckling, constant heckling that comes with being a millionaire athlete, right?
Yep.
But the stuff that was being said was insane.
Yeah, I mean, whatever we heard, it was probably like 2 to 3 times worse in Philly that we didn't get on camera.
You'd have thought Ben banged that dude's girl or whatever with the way he was.
Mom and sister at the same time.
What? At the same time. Oh yeah.
At the same time. Anyway, 4 minutes.
That would, you know what? In that case, that's justifiable.
What
the guy was saying.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's not Simmons' fault.
Houston and I forgot where you stand on that. Houston and Portland.
How are we talking about that in 2 separate shows?
Strong callback, dude. Houston's a 3.5 point favorite on the road. On the road. It is remarkable. And I got to tell you, Christian Wood, this dude can put up some numbers from time to time, as we saw the other day. He's getting only 15% on a 7-gamer. I haven't built lineups yet, but I am definitely interested. I'm interested in Jayshawn Tate. I'm interested in Jalen Green, who's shown he can pop off from time to time. Tate's 4,200 on DraftKings. And Kevin Porter as well. I don't know. Maybe Şengün plays enough minutes alongside Christian Wood that he gets enough opportunity as well. All I'm saying is Portland is so bad right now that if Houston is favored, that tells you all you need to know. What do you think their implied total is, the Rockets today? You probably have it in front of you.
120.
It is the highest implied total on the slate by 3 points.
Yeah.
At 119.
Yeah.
The Rockets.
It's insane.
Highest implied total.
Give me Jalen Green. Ownership warranted. Give me Kevin Porter. 30% owned on both sites. Warranted to me. I like Christian Wood a bit. I think he's basically appropriately priced. Those are the 3 main guys here. The guy that I want to point out the most, this is going to change by the time we get to lock, unless I missed something. I don't know why Jayshawn Tate's projected for 20% ownership on FanDuel and DraftKings, but he shouldn't be. It doesn't make any sense.
So
over the past 6 games, Jayshawn Tate has averaged 21 minutes.
So that's the one concern I have for sure. Many of them have been blowouts, but how much of that do you think right now is that just we have extraordinarily limited value?
No, it's wrong. It's just unquestionably wrong.
Okay.
I would play 0 Jayshawn Tate regardless of his ownership at this point. Okay. He's not playing the same rotations that he was playing before, and he's not good. He's a decent per minute guy, 0.93. It's not enough to offset that. What your dream scenario here is that he plays 24 minutes. That is not enough to be anything of value today. Unless somebody is out that I'm missing, I don't agree with the Tate ownership. And I don't think it's going to be there when we get to lock either.
It would be nice to see Şengün get enough minutes alongside Christian Wood to be viable. And he's been very good with the production, but his price point's still a little bit high to bank on 23 minutes.
Yeah, I gave him those 23 minutes. He's fine. He's like the best guy that isn't Green, Porter, and Wood.
Right. Portland is just full of red ink.
Trash.
It's crazy. Josh Hart out. Anthony Simons out. Justice Winslow out. I don't even know why they keep reporting Eric Bledsoe out, but he's out. He's not playing this season. No, I mean, it'd be insane to think that he does. So, if this team was healthy and you had Lillard, Nurkic, Josh Hart, Anthony Simons.
Oh, you mean if they were a different team?
Yeah. Right. But I'm saying these guys are actually on the roster.
Yeah. And they have a full other starting 7.
You could relegate this part of the Blazers in your model and then boost the other part of the Blazers.
Correct.
But I don't remember seeing this in a long time. I'm serious. We've seen a lot of tank efforts. I don't remember seeing this, Josh. I really don't.
I don't remember seeing a team that's tanking be so much worse than everyone else. Right. And that's how Portland is. They're 3-point dogs to one of the 3 worst teams in basketball at home today. That's how bad these guys are. So anybody that thinks I think Brandon Williams has a future. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. These guys are all trash. Absolutely trash. Up and down the line. Williams, Watford, Eubanks, Dunn, Ellaby, Greg Brown, who sounds like a made-up person. Elijah Hughes, who sounds like a made-up person. There's nothing here. Unfortunately, we're playing most of Portland today.
real quick, by the way, just to I know. Just to further along your point, the point that you're making, they're not just 3.5-point dogs at home. The Rockets have the highest implied total on the slate.
Yeah.
Just to throw that out there, that I never thought I would see the day this season where the Rockets total was 3 points higher than the next closest team. I'm still shocked by that, but go ahead.
Well, it's just hard for them to have the highest total because normally they're a 10-point underdog.
That's
how bad Portland is.
Right. I know but that's what I'm saying too. Yeah. That's how bad they are. Yeah.
So I really like Brandon Williams today, 6,500 and 6,700. I really like Watford today, 6K on FanDuel, 6,800 on DraftKings. I would be more than okay getting to Drew Eubanks, 6,100 on FanDuel, both eligibility, 6,300 on DK. Chris Dunn's pulling a ton of ownership on DraftKings, got the start the last time out. Assume that happens again. That's fully warranted. McLemore's a decent value. Greg Brown's a solid value at 3,400. CJ Ellaby's a decent value at 4,200. That's why I don't agree with the Jayshawn Tate ownership. All these Portland dudes are just as good, if not better, than Jayshawn Tate today, and certainly have way bigger minutes upside than Tate does. I mean, outside of Blevins and Hughes, I'd probably play everybody. Everybody on DK outside of Blevins and Hughes has ownership basically 10% or higher. The one that doesn't is Brandon Williams, and he's the only guy that gets usage on the team. So take that shot. They look good.
They do. All right.
And they all look sort of good equally.
Last game here, but I have to address this. Gab says, I wish this fan mentality existed when guys like Oakley, Barkley, Kareem, X-Man, and Artest played. Idiot fans would have gotten their asses kicked. It did exist. Dude,
Artest went into the stands and punched a fan. What are you talking about?
And Charles Barkley literally threw a guy through a window at a bar.
Yeah.
He threw a guy through a window, and Artest tried to murder people in attendance. This was way worse back then because a lot of these players, I don't even know if you have players comparable to the to the mentality that like Artest and Barkley had back then. Artest and Barkley were not afraid to like it's you
had less to lose then.
It's not the fan mentality as much as it is the players. And I'm not saying it's bad about the players, but I promise you that if that dude was saying that stuff to Charles Barkley or Ron Artest, that they said that he replace Ben Simmons with Artest or Barkley, he's not waking up in the morning.
No. You also didn't have these guys getting filmed 24/7. It was a lot easier for Charles Barkley to throw somebody through a bar window.
That's a great
12 at night. You do that now, and you're
How
on
great
TV
is that,
in
though?
15 minutes.
How great is that, though?
My dad did that to somebody.
Did he?
Yeah.
It's got to feel awesome.
I bet it was. I wish I could be a fly on the wall when he did it.
It's got to feel so good. Let's bring him on here one day. I want to hear the story on a live after lock show. I want to hear the story.
I'm in.
But yeah,
I've been to the bar.
Less cameras, less cell phones.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. Charles ended up being the coolest dude in the world, man. What a gift to the earth he is.
Yeah.
I love
Charles. I mean, all these guys coming out. Like, how great is Shaq?
What's that?
Shaq is incredible.
Oh, he's amazing. Him and Chuck together, though. And then you have Ernie as just the guy that's there trying to steer the ship. It's a beautiful thing. All right. You ready to wrap this one up?
More than a little.
All right. Before we do, hold on. Do I have a Breaks of God read? Let me just make sure. Yeah.
Breaks of what?
Breaks of God.
Yeah.
I think I found the spelling. It's Gaowd. It's a Gaowd. Gaowd. Fantasy sports fans, what have you caught a break with the potential to net a couple $100,000 with less than 100% investment? Well, we got great news because breaksofgod.com is the place to catch that break. Breaks of God is the latest sports card collecting trend to catch fire in America, and it's how sports card collectors of all ages are building high-value card collections without huge investments or risk. It's quickly become a popular and economical way for sports fans to get potentially high-value or rare cards without having to buy a $1,500 box or case themselves. From football to baseball and everything in between, there are many slot options available for under $100, so you can get in on that big money action. Breaks of God box breaks dramatically increase your odds of getting big money premium sports trading cards for a fraction of the cost of expensive, hard-to-get boxes. And all the boxes are broken from sealed premium boxes live on Instagram, and the cards are shipped directly to you for free when the live break is over. Slots are limited, though, so act fast. And to learn more about how you can hit big money cards and get 30% off your first break, go to breaksofgod.com/A30, A30. That's breaksofgod.com/A30 and get 30% off your first break. Or Josh, you can also follow them on Instagram. Where?
Breaks of God.
There it is. Breaks of God. Check them out. Breaksofgod.com. All right. Last one here. Philadelphia 76ers laying 6 against the Clippers. Scrappy Clippers team. Good defensive team. Awful offensive team. 220 total would indicate as much. No real injuries on either side of this game, though. So you're essentially just unless something happens throughout the day, and that's why we have some of these later shows. What you see is what you get, dude. Like there's just a bunch of okay players that aren't named Joel Embiid and James Harden.
I like Harden and Embiid. They're the only guys getting any ownership. I like Embiid more than Harden individually. It's probably easier to get to Harden just because he's got multiple position eligibility and a cheaper price tag. But other than that, if you want to get to $6,200 maxi on FanDuel because he plays 36 minutes a game, he's 3% owned. I think that's reasonable. It's not a priority at all. The only guys you're prioritizing are Harden and Embiid.
Okay.
And I think that both of them look worse than Luka.
I would agree with that. On both sides you're talking about in terms of prioritizing? Yeah. I agree. Like Reggie Jackson, I actually think at 4% is somewhat interesting. If Tyronn Lue decides not to do wonky shit with minutes and gives him, huge minutes if the game.
No, it's already on. He's already come out and said
not playing.
He's limited to 32.
Man. I don't buy that for a second.
Batum at 19, Marcus Morris at 25.
I don't buy that crap. They said 32 minutes, right? 32 minutes. I don't buy it for a second, Josh.
I do, because they don't give a shit about the season.
This game stays close. These playing 38.
No.
But that's why he's 4%. Now, look, I hear you. I'm just saying, this wouldn't be the first time someone trusts a coach what he says and ends up being completely wrong.
That I agree with.
Before we get out of here, just quick question. Do you remember how many minutes, do you know how many minutes Garland played yesterday?
Yes. 38.4.
See, how about that? We're going to play our starters bigger minutes today. Garland's been playing 41 a night in regulation, played 3 fewer minutes. I know that maybe they pulled him a little early in that game, but
so they did go to an 8-man rotation. Kevin Love is like started and got we're going to play starter minutes, but everybody else just played like they normally do.
Garbage time.
Yeah. Everybody else played like they normally do.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, what is the point of saying, the problem with that is then you get a beat reporter that just like takes that and runs with it. Right. Oh, he said he was going to play in big minutes when they've already been playing. Oh, they've already been playing big
minutes.
That's
what we said on Live Before Lock last night. I was like, I don't really know what this means. They already do this.
Yeah. Is Garland going to play all 4 quarters now?
I literally was just like, is he just going to play 48 minutes? Is that what he's trying to say? Because I was like, oh, Garland plays 40 a game. Mobley plays 36 a game. Markkanen plays 36 a game. McCormick plays 34 a game.
That's already big.
We're not moving these.
No. All right. Hey, good stuff as always, man.
Oh, yeah. By the way, just for the Clippers, they are not interesting anywhere across the board.
And if we do buy into Tyronn Lue with the minutes, then it's even more so, right? Like it's even more. So
the highest ranked guy I have for the Clippers is Reggie Jackson. He is 19th overall on DK. So
I'll throw one at you. Just let me see his price first. He's too expensive. I was gonna say if Hartenstein was like 4K, I would legitimately advocate for playing him because I don't want to be this guy, but Zubats will be in foul trouble. It's going to happen.
Hartenstein's been playing 24 minutes a game over the past 3 as well. And if they're limiting Morris and we don't have Covington, it's possible we're just splitting 48 minutes at center between Zubats and Hartenstein at this point.
Yep, exactly. Or Hartenstein could start seeing a little bit more minutes, but the price is a little tough. Anyway, 170 likes, Josh. You think we could go 200 here before we go? You think it's doable? I mean, just one fail swoop, bing, bang, boom, in, out.
Yeah, hit that like button, everybody. There are at least 320 people here that have not hit the like button yet.
Yep.
To me, that's rude on a Friday.
One might say it's sheer fuckery.
I agree.
Appreciate you guys, though. Have a great rest of the day. Stick around. You got the NHL Strategy Show at 2. You got Locks Before Lock at 4:30, Deeper Dive at 5, Live Before Lock, plus the after show at 6. All that good stuff coming up throughout the day. Stick with us, and we'll see you back here for the next one. And shout out to Tyler Zander. Phenomenal job producing today's show. Appreciate you, bro. See you guys back here soon. Peace.